Last night, your Nashville Predators lost 2-1 in Game 3 of Round 1 versus the Vancouver Canucks. So let's get into the game review. Just some overall thoughts. Tough loss last night. They were absolutely the better team. Way more shots on goal. Canucks had 12 shots on goal. Basically sat in their end a lot. Felt a lot like Game 2, but their roles were switched. An overall reasonable game from the team. Just couldn't find a way to score. And I just felt like they were too passive at times. But let's get into the actual game. In the first period, the Preds came out super hot. Lots of chances, tons of chances, dominated the game. Canucks didn't have an even strength shot on goal in the first period. The first big play is the Dakota Joshua penalty where he boards the ever-living shit out of Spencer Stastny. No idea how that got brought down to a 2-minute minor. That absolutely should have been a 5-minute major. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if the NHL suspends him. He absolutely deserves it. Anyone who thinks otherwise is just being plain dumb. Stastny never turns around. He sees the numbers basically from the blue line on and decides to finish a check through his head. Not a clean hit in the slightest. I don't know what the NHL saw that made it get put down to a 2-minute. But getting put down to a 2-minute was a big play in the game because I think a 5-minute major is an absolute turning point. Preds probably score on the 5-minute major, even though the power play wasn't great. They probably score on a 5-minute major, and if they scored to take an early lead in that game, I'm not sure the Canucks stand a chance to come back. Later in the period, Preds don't score on the ensuing power play. Later in the period, McCarron takes the penalty where he kind of got bumped by Quinn Hughes. Canucks fans were mad about it. I'm not really sure where they wanted McCarron to go. He didn't really have anywhere else to, he tried to avoid DeSmith behind the net, ran into him. He's trying to avoid DeSmith. There's just not really a place to go. Hughes is on his right. DeSmith's basically up against the wall. DeSmith fakes like he's going to backhand play it one way and then shoots it the other way, which also makes him there longer, therefore more vulnerable. It was a dumb penalty, and it's definitely a penalty, and it should have been called, but I'm not really sure what anyone who, they said that was dangerous. It was, but DeSmith put himself in that position. McCarron didn't really have any other place to go. Hughes boxes him in back there. That was his only decision, basically, was just trying to avoid DeSmith, and he just couldn't do it. That leads to a Canucks goal on the power play. One of the luckiest goals I've ever seen. Preds get a block shot. Quinn Hughes is literally turning his head to go back and get the clearance as it's about ready to happen, and the puck hits him on the back of the leg as it's getting cleared, gets kept in because of that, and the puck gets worked around instantly to a JT Miller goal. You got to clear the puck in that situation. I don't even know why it was near Quinn Hughes, but also a super, super lucky goal. Tough way to give up your first goal. So in all honesty, Preds should have felt good after one. They were absolutely the better team. One lucky keep in at the blue line from being tied at 0 and having completely dominated the period. To start the second period, story of the game, a ton more missed chances for the Preds. Had a ton. I can think of multiple ROR chances in just the first two periods where he's got to score. He was the big one for me in this game, but plenty of chances. Canucks get another power play on a Yossi trip where his stick gets stuck in, I don't remember who it was, someone behind the net in their blade. They score. It's a Besser goal in front. They just kind of left Besser open. He tips it in the net. Pretty easy goal for Besser. I'm not sure why he's open in the slot, but tough break again for the Preds in a period they've dominated. And then right after the power play, the Preds pour it right back on. More pressure. Canucks are stuck in their end. Just can't find a goal. It was the story of the night. It was no ability to score from anybody, and it just kept happening. In the third period, another story of the game we saw, especially in the third period, was officiating. Not really sure what sometimes happens. For example, there was a play where Forsberg comes down, takes a shot. They call a hold on Quinn Hughes, which, was fine. Quinn Hughes held him. Should have been a Preds power play. And then they decide to match it with a play behind the net where it's a scrum. They decide to call only Evangelista in the entire scrum. So the Preds lose their power play. It's playoff hockey. Not sure why we're calling one man in a scrum behind the net, especially in a play where Quinn Hughes tried to tackle Evangelista, couldn't do it, and then ended up on his back with Evangelista on top, and the Preds lose the power play for that. Just not sure what exactly why they called that. The NHL is that's just a big question mark for me. It's the playoffs. There should be scrums. There's scrums on every play. Go watch a playoff game. Why they chose at that time to take away a power play for a scrum that happens all the time, I'm not really sure. They did it. Big miss. Later in the game, there's a clear mistrip on ROR by Zadorov. About as clear as it comes. Not sure why it wasn't called. Right after that, the Preds get a 5-on-3 with a Besser trip, and then Zadorov clears the puck over the boards for the way of game. Would have been an even longer 5-on-3 had they just gotten the easiest trip in the book, but they didn't. they just can't find a goal on that. ROR has a puck right on his stick that gets blocked by Ian Cole's head, who's laying on the ice. I mean, just unlucky. Ends up in the netting. Plenty of chances again on the 5-on-3, then the assuming 5-on-4. They had their chances again, just couldn't find a goal. Tough. With about 3 minutes to go, they finally find a goal. Evangelista scores on a nice shot coming in the slot. Good to see Evangelista score. He's had some moments where he's been pretty good in this series, but he's had some moments where he's had a chance to score and just couldn't find it. Great to see him score. It's going to be big down the stretch. After that, once again, the Preds poured on. They had more chances. ROR had more chances in the slot. They had the one-timer from the point where like 4 people had chances at rebounds and no one could put it home. Just tons of shots on goal, tons of chances, just couldn't find one. And in the end, Evangelista's goal was probably just too little too late. I mean, there wasn't really a ton there. They had their chances even after that, but when the time's running that low, tough to find goals. It is what it is. So the good from tonight, they were the much better team tonight. And like game 2, how they kind of got dominated and the Canucks got like that was absolutely them tonight. They were the way better team. Canucks just took advantage of their chances, and that's the reason you lose. But they were absolutely the better team and deserved to win tonight. Like I said it earlier, Evangelista got on the board finally. Big for him. They need to get him going. He's been a big part of the team, especially in their 18-game point streak. Got to get him going. Have to get him going. And then lastly, they got a ton of chances in this game. I know that they only scored once, and that sucks. But if you get chances like that in a series, you're going to win a game like that 85, 90% of the time. And that's what you got to do. I mean, you lost your own ice advantage. You got to start winning games that you can. In terms of the bad, just a big question mark I have next to ROR. I mean, I don't so many chances. And from a guy like ROR who scores crazy goals, it was just really surprising me to not see him score. It's a guy that had all year scored greasy goals. I mean, if you look at his goal chart that I saw on Twitter the other day, they're all just in the crease, basically. That's where he scores his goals from. So just sad to see him not score his chances. He had a chance 5 minutes in that if he scores, the Preds probably win because the game goes differently. Yossi's a ghost. I don't know where Yossi is. Has not played well in the series. I think he has 1 point. He is the power play. He is the offense. I think he's gotten too lulled in the fact that the Canucks are a good team and he's trying to play too defensively. They need him to become part of the offense again. He is a huge part of this offense. When they were on their 18-game point streak, it was Roman Josi getting the points along with Forsberg. But it was Josi getting the points. They need him to keep doing that. That's huge. Lastly, awful special teams tonight. Awful. 0 for 4 in the power play. 2 for 4 in the penalty kill. You're never, ever, ever, ever going to win games like that. You got to score. When you get 4 power plays, plus, I think it might have been actually more than that. But when you get that many power plays, especially 5-on-3, you got to score. Having said that, they should have had even more chances. But, I'm not sure what helped. You didn't score on the power play tonight. You got to be better. So in closing, just got to keep playing the way you did tonight. That's going to win you a lot of series. It will absolutely win you this series. It'll win you a ton of games. If you play like that for the last 4 games of this series, I'm not even sure it'll make it 7. You'll be done in 6. You were the better team tonight. That absolutely showed. They kind of got back to their game a little bit tonight, too. A lot more rush chances, a lot more pressure, which is what we wanted to see in the first 2 games. And I think part of that was Bridgestone, but part of that was just they kind of finally settled in. And I think that is going to be huge in this series. If they get settled in and start playing their game, I'm not sure the Canucks can beat them. I'm not sure most of the teams can. Oilers might be one of the teams. Avalanche might be another team. But there's not many teams that can beat them if they play their rush game. So they just got to get back to that, which they started to do finally. Bridgestone was great after Evangelista scored. I felt like there were times it was a little quiet, but for the most part, the fans were in it, which is huge. The team needs that. The fans will be there. The fans are there. The team always plays better with that. Especially after the Evangelista goal, they were really loud, but even before that, the fans were still in it because the Preds were playing well. They need the special teams to be better, especially the power play. I think I saw 1 for 13 now in the series. That's not going to win you a series. So they just need the power play to figure it out. I don't know what's going to change. Bruno in his post-game presser yesterday said they have some things they're going to try. I'm curious to see what all they're going to try because the power play needs to get on pace or get on track if we're going to win this series. And then lastly, just, again, Josi. They need Josi. They also need just defensemen as a whole to shoot the puck. I felt like at times they were passive in this game in shooting, even with 30 shots on goal, especially with the backup goalie and that just shoot. DeSmith never, ever, ever to me looked comfortable. Everything was a tough save for him. So just get pucks to the net, get rebounds, get people to the net, just get pucks to the net. Anything can go in. You never know, especially with how many people are clogging up the middle. So just shoot. And then Josi especially just needs to shoot. He's got a wicked clapper. Just let the puck fly. Let's see what happens. this team is a good team. They can absolutely win this series. They showed that today. They're right where they belong. They deserve to be here, and that's saying something. But with all that being said, that's going to do it for the Game 3 review. I will see y'all after Game 4. Peace.